All right, here we go. Let's get the mic on. Test, test, test. 1 2 1 2. Mic check 1 2. All right, got my mic on. Audio. Let's see if I got audio on the decks. Okay, that's one. All right. All right, and I think that is two. So we should be good on the audio. Just make one last check. Test, 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 test. 1 2. All right, that's good. Okay, I don't know where that's going in. I'll hit that turntable. All right, I think I. All right. Audio on that deck. Okay, audio on that deck, and we are good to go. All right, I'm gonna kind of stand up today, guys. Matter of fact, let me take this jacket off because it's kind of hot down here. I probably should have changed shirts too, but anyway, got my work shirt on. So y'all get to see me in my work attire. All right, so basically what I'm doing tonight is a brief run through. I'm gonna run through it a little bit quicker than I did last week. Last week I did basically giving out 8 scratch tips, eight scratch tips that I usually use when I'm practicing or warming up or whatever. So we're not gonna delay a whole lot into it. I mean, a whole lot. So we're just gonna go and get to it because I want to make this one a quick one. All right, now the 8 tips that I use. This is from my own personal excuse. My own personal use from when I first started back in the early '90s when I started scratching and I decided I wanted to be a DJ and I started to get equipment. Now from 92, 93 is about when I started up to about this point. These are all the little tips and tricks that I picked up the long way. Some of them I picked up from other people. Some of them I picked up on my own. For those of you that know me, I have a tendency of, developing my own style, my own techniques, or whatever. So, if you're in need of learning how to do anything, learning how to DJ, period, feel free to give me a call. The first meetup will be like a free consultation to where I would get with you and we would do maybe like an online meet or whatever for probably about an hour. And I basically try to find out where you want to be, where you want to go. Try to find out which direction that you want to go in. I don't go in and tell you, okay, get this equipment, get that equipment, you need this, you need that, you need to buy this, you need to do that. No, I don't do that. As a background from being a tech, I learned that that's something that you don't do. You find out the issue first. You find out the symptoms of how to resolve a problem. So that's what I do. I find out basically where do you want to go? What's your objective? Many other aspects as well. I ask a whole bunch of questions and then I give feedback and answers. And then as for where that goes, if what I say is what you're really looking for, then the next step we can get started. But you can't get started unless you got some equipment. So these tips that I'm sharing today will be able to help you in your journey. And it's not just for scratching. There's a lot of these tips that you need for like mixing and DJing, period. So let's get started on it. Now, the number one thing, and this is mostly with anything that you do, you need to exercise and stretch. So right now, I mean, I've been doing a little practicing, but I ignored stretching today. I did not stretch earlier. So right now, before we do anything, just so I'm warmed up and limber before we get ready to start, I'm gonna do some stretches. Now, the most important thing, you want to make sure your arms. You're gonna be using your arms a majority of the time. If you're a scratcher, you're gonna be using as much from shoulder all the way down to fingertips. So you need to make sure you need to find some good exercises and get with me later. I'll show you some of the exercises that I use. But right now, do whatever you need to do. You don't necessarily need to do weights. This, like I said, this is just stretching. We're basically getting the body warmed up to get ready. And this, like I said, this is not just for scratching too. Whenever you mix it, you want to make sure that you're ready to get into the ring. You want to make sure that you are physically ready. So you need to start doing some stretching. So we're gonna start by pulling right arm over and stretching the elbow right here. So we're stretching that muscle right there. We're starting from the shoulder and moving down. And then you do your other side. You can either pull your hand or you can take your hand and pull your elbow back. Now, next thing you want to do, you're going to do some circles. Do some circles. Get your arms out there. I need to turn this other light on over here. Go forward a little bit and then start to go back. When you start to feel a little resistance or a little burn, then it's working. You're doing what you're supposed to do. All right. So next, we're just going to do a couple twists to get your waist. You don't necessarily have to do your feet, but if you want to do your feet because as a DJ, you're standing a lot. Just bring your legs back to your hips. Another thing you could do is toe touch. Get down and stretch and touch your toes for a few seconds. That not only works your legs, but that works your back, which that's an important thing too. Now, as well as before you start DJing, if you're a mobile DJ, what you want to do is start stretching before you load your gear. Because that's kind of like going into the gym and lifting weights. You're lifting up to 100 pounds, maybe more of equipment, and you haven't stretched, you're going to start to pull up muscle. By the time you get ready to start that first record of the day at your event, you're going to pull a hamstring or something. Something is going to start hurting. You're going to start hurting and you're going to want to sit down. So make sure that y'all start stretching. Now, all right. Here's some other tips on stretching. Now, depending on what type of scratching that you're doing, some scratching that you're going to be doing, turn the band off for a second. Some scratching you're going to be doing, you're going to be using your fingertips. All right, let's change over to a different view. All right, some you're going to be using your fingertips. So if you're twiddling or crabbing or sometimes flaring, you're going to be twiddling your fingers. And I'm going to show you if I still have it. It should be, yep, they're right here. I'm going to show you what I use to warm my fingers up. Now, another thing, if you're doing certain scratches, and look right here on where I have my hand on the fader, you're going to be using your wrist, like transforming, stabs, um, transforming stabs, marches, stuff like that. The more beginner stuff, you're going to be using your wrist. When you start to get into the advanced stuff, you start to use your fingers. That's where you're going to start twiddling across the fader, and that gives you the faster action. Now, what I use, and let's go into a bigger view. What I use is this right here.
Let it.
These are what they call.
Let it
Some
hit them.
people call them Chinese medicine balls. Some of them call them. The actual name for 'em is balding balls. BAU. I think BAULDING. And as you can hear, they kind of make like a chime or jingling noise. Now they come in like
Let
three,
it hit.
maybe four different sizes. I think these are maybe like the mediums. They have some smaller ones than this. They come in different colors, different textures. You find some that are like stainless steel. Some of them, the outside is stainless steel. This one has some type of epoxy, or well, not epoxy, but polyurethane or some type of plastic coating with like a gloss. And if you can see right there, you can see where I dropped it at one time. I don't know if that's going to zoom in. There you go. And you can see what it is, but it has a nice gloss and a shine to it. So how you use these, you take them in your hand, and depending on which hand. Now, this is my right hand. With my right hand, I'm going clockwise. Now, some say that don't want them hitting up against each other. I mean, it doesn't matter with me if you can get that good. I mean, I could probably do it with smaller ones, but these right here are the right size of my hand where it'll be a little bit harder for me. I've tried it before and haven't had too much luck with it. So what you do as you start to go, the faster you start to go, you're gonna feel a burn in your arm. Right here, this whole part of your arm is gonna start to go on fire. But the thing is, you continue to move on past that. Keep on going. I don't know if you can see where the muscles are starting to tend up. I'm gonna try to go all the way this time. Last time I didn't make it. I haven't been using them in a while. Right now I'm feeling the burn. Now I'm feeling it on the backside. That muscle on the backside is starting to go on fire. The faster that I go, the more it's gonna start to burn. And after probably maybe about 5 minutes, it's gonna pass. The pain is gone, and that's what you want. Like right now, I feel it. The tension is getting tight, getting real tight. But the thing is, you got to keep going, and that's what I'm doing. I'm continue going. Change back to this view. Still going, and it's burning. It is burning up. And the thing is, with these, when I used to take long trips, like going from, and there it is. It's it. I think it's gone now. I don't know whether it's gone or nope. I think I took a brief pause to where it dropped off for me. But anyway, I used to take these, and when I'm driving like on a long trip from like Georgia to Mississippi, and I used to do this. Well, probably not all the way, but I would do it in areas where it's just I just need to pass the time off while driving. May not be a whole lot of scenery, a lot of countryside or whatever, not going through a city or through the city. And so at that point, I will pull these out and, not only work on my arm, but also help pass the time by. Basically multitasking, doing more than one thing at a time. So yeah, it's burning and I'm going pretty fast. I'm going
Let it.
faster than what I usually go. All right, let's continue on. So while I'm still doing this, I'm gonna be talking about some stuff with using my left hand. Like I said, if you with beginning scratcher, you're gonna use a lot of your wrist. So you want to make sure that you work your wrist out, whatever exercise that you can come up to work your wrist out. do that. This right here mostly works your fingers to where when you're doing this, you're doing the crabbing across the fader. It builds up your speed. And we'll get into a little bit on speed and stuff in a few more exercises. So, all right, I think I've done up to probably about 5 minutes now. So, like I said right here, this is exercise. Since I'm right hand on the fader, this is the hand that I want to work right now because I'm gonna be mostly this hand on the fader. And I think that was the point, the break point right there. Nope, it wasn't. I feel it. It's burning again. It's right here. And I could usually go a long time. If I start to take my mind off of it and just start, doing other stuff, then it'll eventually just pass over. And let's see, is that it? It's not burning as much now, but it's still got a little tension on both sides of the arm. And like I said, you're working. I think nope, that's not it. Like I said, I don't know. You may have to find a little Chinese shop to get these from. I'm sure you can probably with Amazon. You can probably get them on Amazon. If you're looking for a pair, just hit me up, and I will go on Amazon and link you to a site where you can probably get a good set from. And they usually run well. I haven't priced them in a while, but last time I bought them, I think these were like probably about $25 or $30. I'm not for sure how much they run now. But like I said, they'll get your fingers working. Another item that you can use is you can use. Oh, here's a tip. You can use rubber bands. I don't know if I grabbed one for me to use, but if you get a big rubber band, not too big, maybe something about that round, and take it and wrap it around each finger. If you wrap it around each finger to where it pulls your finger like this, and let me change the view so I can show you what I'm talking about. If you, and I'm gonna stick this out so you can hear me. But anyway, if you wrap it around each finger, I'm gonna go ahead and stop. Oh, that feels good. All right. So if you take the rubber band and if you wrap it around each finger and your thumb, it's gonna pull your fingers in like this. And then you take it and you just stretch it out. You stretch it out each time. Do that maybe about 100 times per hand. Stretch it out as far as you can and back. That'll work up the fingers. That'll build up, tighten up the muscle in the fingers, and also cause some tension and stuff in your wrist if you do that. Um, Another device that you can use, guitarists, they use a device that you squeeze, and it has a spring in it. There's other ones that are. Let me see what else you can use. You can do a tennis ball. You can try if you can squeeze it good enough. I mean, you need something that you can squeeze to where your fingers are being worked like this. That's all that you need with that. You don't need anything really special. You may have something right in front of you right now, or in the room, or in the house, or whatever. So that's what you need. All right. Like I say, touch again on exercise real quick. Make sure you work all your parts, especially your neck and your back. Neck, your back, and your legs, because that's where most of the legs is going to be where most of the weight is, because you're going to be standing. Like right now, I'm standing on the pad, so I'm good. I'm good. I'm not standing on the solid concrete floor. So right now I'm good. I'm not sitting today. I'm standing up. Um, Depending on the type of scratches that you're doing, I would say get something that works your fingers because you can always do fingers and wrist, but you want to make sure that you get the whole thing, especially working your arm, especially on your record hand, because as you can see, going back and forth a whole lot is going to start to work out. And make sure that you work the same for each hand because if you're ambidextrous, then you're going to make sure that you have it worked out for your opposite hand. And I'm learning to become ambidextrous. Um, that'd be another tip. Another tip coming up. So, like I said, exercise is important. Make sure you start off exercising first before you do anything. Now, the next thing that you want to do, step number two, you want to build up some type of practice routine. My practice routine is I have a video. It's a 20-minute video with DJ Shorty where she goes through all the different, well, until I build up my own, which I have ideas for routine practices that I want to do for the lessons as well as my own practices. And I'm in the progress of working on that. Right now, it needs to be put on paper so I can go ahead and start creating. But like I said, practice routine. Make you a practice routine, something that you can stick with every day. The practice routine that I do, it starts up from a baby scratch all the way up to 4-click flares, which is real advanced. Once I get the 4-click flares and everything in between down, then I can go to more detail and harder stuff like the Autobahn. Um, well, that's the only one that I can think of that I'm trying to learn that I haven't really got into yet because I want to get everything else down before I start to get in that. Right now, the main thing that I'm working on are flares. I got my one clicks down. I'm starting to move into two, three, and fours. So building a practice routine, find out what scratches that you want to learn. Now, if you want to be a turntablist or a scratch DJ, then you want to start to learn everything, but learn one at a time. If you are a mixed DJ, but you want to implement scratches into your routine or into your sets or whatever, just even to transition over, you probably only need maybe four scratches, 4 or 5 scratches. Let's see, baby scratch, which I'll be talking about that in a few more minutes. Baby scratch, march, um, scribbles. Scribbles is where you're like this, where you just vibrate the record. Um, what else? Um, baby, tears, scribbles, marches, stabs. Transformer is probably the most advanced that you need on the basic side. So just learning those is going to take you a little bit of time. So make sure you go through and develop your routine. If you need help building up a routine, let me know. Like I said, I need to find out what's your skill level and where you want to go first before I pursue and tell you what you need to pick up, what you need to do, and so forth. So number two is practice routine. Now, number three, when you're learning to scratch, start off slow. Don't go immediately into go into the fast stuff. You want to start off slow. Find a beat. always start with a slow beat. And this also is something that you want to implement into your routine. Have several different beats, but at different tempos. Have something that's probably about around 80 BPMs, move up to 90, 95, 100, 110, 115 on up. But first, you're going to start off with something slow. And when you start off slow, you're going on the one. You're going right with the beat. You're not going too fast. If the beat, and then as you start to pick up, and then you can start to go a little faster. And then you can start going real fast. But start out slow. Keep it slow. Start out slow and then ramp your speed up as you see that you're starting to hold it. And what you want to do when you start out slow, try to hold that speed, that pitch, that sync for probably about a minute or 30 seconds, 15 to 30 seconds. If you slip out of it, go right back. Start out at that same speed. Once you feel comfortable that you have that speed and you can go ahead and move on, then do so. One of the beats that I'm going to be making is going to be one that's going to ramp up. There's one out there now, but I'm going to make something that ramps up and also let you know when it's going to ramp up so you can prepare and get ready for when it does. So, like I said, start out slow. Slow is essential. Some of the best stuff starts out with a slow scratch. All right, let me do an example. All right, now this is a one click flare. Let me change over my view. All right. And I think my camera has shifted. Let me see if I can get it right back on track. Oh, wrong way. All right, there we go. So this right here is a one click flare. My track is going to start here at 12 o'clock. And I'm probably going to end right over here at, was this 2:30? Probably about 2:30. And I'm going to hit my click probably about midway. So I'm going to go from here, click my fader, here, come back, click it again, click, 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 and I'm gonna start to ramp up to build my speed. And I'm gonna start with my fader open. On this particular scratch, you start with your fader open. So here we go. All right. Let's turn this off. Now, I think I started to get off, so I stopped. because I started to move my speed up. Now, if I mess up, I'll stop and then start over again, moving slow. Finding that finding that point where I need to click my fader, finding that end point for my record hand and moving back to the beginning. So during this, I'm moving from here to here. Maybe not even that far. As you start to go a lot faster, you find out you may be going right here. You're not gonna be going this far. Another reason that you also want to go slow, because after a while you start to hear what you need to produce. And then at that point, you can start producing without even looking. You know at what point that you need to do your click. You know at what point you need to stop. You need to know at one point you need to go back. So like I say, you're going slow so you can hear the sound that you need to make. Okay, I start to get off there, so I stop and I'm going back. After a while, you start to hear the clicks as you're bumping the fader over. You start to hear the sound that the clicks would need to be made. All right, so this is with no volume that I can't hear. Okay, let me do it. Turn the channel down, so all you can do is hear the clicks. Now I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna turn it up. So now my cue, my booth is off. So I can't hear anything. I can't hear anything that's going on. I'm gonna go along with just hearing the clicks. Like I said, after a while, you'll be able to hear it, hear what you need to be doing as your record hand is moving. So this is me practicing it blind. And all I'm doing is just listening to the clicks, the fader bumping against the side. I may have messed up at that point because I think I started taking my focus off while I was talking. That's another thing. You also want to make sure that you stay focused. Stay focused with what you're doing. All right. So that right there is building up speed, but you want to start slow. So building up speed, slow is essential. Start off slow and start to ramp up as you move on. So let's move on to the next one because this is that something that a technique that I use for not only teaching, but it also showed me how to get certain scratches that I wasn't able to do down. And that's using the TTM, which is the turntable transcription method. Now, this is basically a chart where it's like music notations, where you have quarter notes, 1/8 note, 1/32 note, stuff like that. Notes, bars, and so forth. It's like reading sheet music, but it's for turntables to where you have your various pitches between something that's fast and something that's slow, which produces a heavier beat. And where you also adding in clicks in there. So let me show you the chart. If I can find out where did I stick it. All right, should be all right, there we go. This is one that well, I was gonna do it. I can still do it, but here is the chart right here. Now on this chart, and let me make it so it's the chart on the screen by itself. All right. Let me get my audio. I got to get my audio onto that channel because I'm creating a whole new scene in OBS. All right, there. You should be able to hear me now. So now this is a chart. This has like over 1,000 scratches. I think it's somewhere between 111. I think it's somewhere between 1,000. I think it's like 1,032 different scratches, just about everything except for this is like individual scratches. This is not patterns or routines or whatever. You can put this together to make uh, other sounds or other routines or whatever. But this right here is just everything. You got your beginner. You have your baby scratch, which is way up here at the top. I don't know if okay, so it didn't do a cursor. All right, so why I say that this is good because all right, this right here, which just popped up into the center, this is two what does the TC mean? Two tear click, two times click, two tear. I don't know. I haven't gotten this far yet. So let's go back and let me pull up something that we do know. And like I said, this is a periodic matrix of scratch. If you want to get this chart, the person's email that created it, I'm going to put it in the comments or in the description. So look for it later on, or at this point right now. If you're not watching live, if you're watching this later, then you'll be able to see it there. Let's zoom in. All right, these are tear flares, flirps, clairs, orbits, flares, high click flares. All right, and we're up here at the beginning. The way that this chart works is real simple. All right, so okay, where's my? All right, you got a circle, and dang, it's not showing my cursor. All right, hold on. Capture cursor. Okay, it's not capturing my cursor. Let's see if this works. Yeah, it's not showing my cursor. That sucks. Try it one more time. Okay, it's not showing my cursor. So I need to show my cursor. Why are you not showing my cursor? All right, so over here, if you see where it says key on the right hand side, you see two circles. You see one that's not shaded and you see one that's shaded. Now, the one that's not shaded, that's where your fader is open. So you have it in the open position, anything plays, sound goes out of it. And the one that's shaded, your fader is closed, which means your fader is on the opposite side of the mixer from where your deck is. That means the sound, unless you're doing hamster, that means the sound is closed. There's no sound being heard, there's no sound being played out except for in your headphone cue if you have your cues on. So open, no shade is open, shaded is closed. All right, now this is the example of how it works. Now in this one, and let's see if I can get to that. All right, here we go. So now this is how it works. And let's see if I can get the whiteboard on. Don't want to move that. Need to lock everything. All right, so let me open up a window where I can draw. All right, I'm gonna go over here so I can, hopefully it will let me draw on the screen where I can use my finger. All right, let's see. There we go. There we go. All right, let's clear that. Make that a little bit bigger. All right, so right here, and I may need to change color. Okay, so right here is my starting point. And let's clear that again. Make that a little bit bigger. Okay, so this is my starting point, and about right here, that's my end point. Now, what happens is that when you're going forward, and it didn't change colors. Let's erase that. And just clear the whole thing. Let me start anew. All right. Oh, okay. I know what I'm doing. Change color. Or is it not working? Okay, what's my red color? Did I turn it off? There we go. All right, there's my red. Let's change colors again. And let's say, all right, let's see. So right there is my end point, right there where green is. You know what? I could have did it like this. Go back. Clear that. Start point, which I wanted to be at 12 o'clock. All right, so let's say that's my start point right there. A little kind of didn't do too well on that. Need a stylus. Do I have one down here? One in my pocket. Yep. Okay, so I'm doing this on touch screen. All right, there we go. That'll work. So that's my start point right there. And right here is going to be my end point. And why is it not letting me? Okay. Let's just go from there. Start point right here, end point right there. Change colors. Because now, when I go in this direction, I didn't want to use black. That represents this part. Now, change colors again. When I go backwards, which is yellow, did I just close that? Hold on, need to open it again. All right, so it did red this time. So going back, it's red. So black, red, black, red, black, red. And like I said, this represents the direction that you're going, and you're wondering, like, okay, why when you're going backward, you're not going backward? Because you're going with time. And it may not let me write it out. Well, anyway, I was trying to write the word time. So forward is black. When I go back, it's red. If that makes sense. And that's what this right here. Why does it keep doing that? I need to get my what did I do with the damn thing? I thought I brought it down here, but I guess I didn't. If I had my touch, or you know what, would have been better if I would just went ahead and just did everything with my mouse. All right, like I say, right here, start. Right here, finish. So my timeline is going in this direction. And like I said, this is time. That's time. Now change colors again. And I don't remember how the colors work. Let's erase that. Try something else. Give me something better. Nope. Oh, it's still in erase. Black, yellow, back to green, red. All right, so we're back to green. This should be black. I want to go black, yellow. So yellow is going to be my forward. So this right here is going to represent yellow. I'm going forward, or basically uphill. All right, now I'm going to change colors. And this is this motion. Yellow. 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 And that right there is your stab. Now we're gonna go back in the other direction. Okay, that's red. Cool. That's what I need. Red. Yeah, let's erase this. Because now on the timeline, we're gonna go backwards. This this is your transition back. So yellow, red, yellow, red, yellow, red, yellow, red, yellow, red, yellow, red, yellow, red. And then to finish off, I'm not gonna do well on it this way. So forward is yellow as you're going upward. Backward is red as you're going backward. So in the time when you're doing the scratch, baby scratch, is that right there. Now, to make it a little bit more difficult, all I got, that's white, don't want white. Black. Now I want to add in, like I say, right here. Nope, that's not where I can write. I should be able to write there. Nope, I can't because it's on top. So this uh, trying to erase. All right, scratch here. Okay, here we go. Now I can kind of write. So these right here represent your faders. The dot represents a closed, circle represent open. So if you look on the chart above, if you see the one click flare, which is right next to the baby, it's open up until the back. So that one click flare is like this. Let me see if I hit that right. Nope, that's there, and then trying to get it. All right, so like I say, slow is essential. So I'm going slow, going through my forward motion. I reach my overextended my pass point. So I'm going slow. I reach that point, and then as I'm coming back, getting there. Can't get that click in there. I've got my forward motion. This is probably another thing that I'm going to practice. I'm going to start to practice once I get the basics down. Stuff like this is going to be a little bit different. If you look right next to it, you see the chirp. The chirp is you close and at the top, and you start to come back. So this is the chirp. Starting to get off a little bit. But enough of that. This is turntable transcription number 3. Need to move a little quickly in this. And there's a lot more to it. If I had my tablet to where I could write on the screen better, things will look a little bit better. But like I say, yellow is forward, red is backwards. Green is your start, and your end. And this is the example just for a baby. I hadn't even put any clicks, any opens, or anything else in there. Like I said, the chart is huge. The chart is huge, and you may want to get your copy to start learning. And like I say, again, slow is essential. Slow is essential. Let's zoom. Nope, we're gonna go out. And this is the whole chart. This is what the chart looks like. And like I said, there's like well over 1,000 scratches on there. Easy. I think it was somewhere about 1,300, now 1,030 or 40 or something like that. But like I said, it is a lot on there. Okay, got some comments. I haven't been checking the comments. What's up, Eric? I'm going through a little bit quicker this time. I was out here earlier, but you didn't start yet. Was watching the speeches. Oh, the State of the Union. Yeah, I'll hear about it tomorrow. All right, so like I said, if you want to learn scratches, and like I said, the reason that I use this is because it it shows what this hand and this hand is doing at the same time. The upward and downward motion is your record hand. The open and close, the dots, like Morse code, dot, 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 dot. Those are your clicks. You're seeing all that in one space, and you're seeing where each are used at the same time. And as you can know, that you have clicks that are not in the same place every time, and it produces a different sound. Like and I probably should put this on the other side. Let me turn that off. All right, so what I was trying to do earlier was the click was on the return. Now, usually the click is at the start, and you have it in both. You have it forward and back. But in this one, it was only on the return. Which I think is basically a reverse, or not a reverse flare, but I don't know. I guess that's what it's called. What it is. Trying to create it, I can go forward with it, but trying to do it where I'm doing a baby forward, and then reverse. I'm doing a flare or click. But like I said, practice it and you'll eventually get it. Like I said, that right there, I spent too much time on. That is turntable transcription method. The chart is called the periodic matrix. The periodic matrix of Scratch. Get you a copy and learn something. All right, next one, moving along, essentials. Now back on the chart again. Now on the chart, it has this one as the first scratch on the chart, and that is the baby. The baby is the most important because without the baby, you can't do any of the other ones. Everything on here is some form of a baby with an on and off click. So if you want to learn anything, you do have some like stabs and stuff like that, to where it's only a partial baby, it's only a forward. But other than that, any of your basic scratches are going to be. Let's see, can I move this? All right, here we go. I'm at the end. Like right there, this right here is a stab. These are stabs. Basically where you just going forward. So this is a stab. Start with close, going forward and back. That's it. One motion. You only hear one motion. On the back, It's closed. So that's it. Close. Pull back. Forward on. Sound. Close. Back. You only hear one part of the sound. And then you have reverse stabs. Forward. Reverse. And they all make different sounds. The sound forward is gonna make a different sound backwards. So I was trying to get the baby. Oh shit, I could use my finger. Yeah, I could use my finger. Okay. All right. Baby. Baby scratch is the most important one, and it's the easiest one because it's the one that you're gonna learn. You learn since you was a baby. Ever since you put your hands on the turntable, whether it's your folks' turntable, whatever, that's the one that you learn. Baby is just a forward motion and a backwards motion. No fader. You got different variations of the baby. All right, you got scribble, which is basically a fast version. You got tears, where you go forward and then you rip it, you pull, stop, and then pull. And you can do it reverse too. You got different variations of the baby. Now, this is why I tell people when I do this, this is how important that the baby is. I'm gonna do a baby scratch, but I'm gonna add clicks into it. Now, I want to try this. I'm gonna try this with somebody that has no experience on the turntable when I get a chance. All I want them to do is this. Keep it in time to whatever is playing over there. And then I want to be here and add clicks in so it becomes something different. So something like this. You hear how different it sounds once you add clicks, once you turn it on and off. Remember, I also said slow is essential. So, like I said, build up the speed. Turn it down a little bit. And like I said, it starts with going slow. But you got to begin with the baby. The baby. That baby. Forward, back. No fader. It's open. Now I don't know why it was placed. Why the one click flare, the open. I think that's open one click flare. So it's open on the forward side, and you do a one click back. I think that's what that means. Let's see if he has a. I don't see open, but I'm thinking it's zero click. So yeah, that is open. So zero click, click, zero click, one click flare. So zero on the forward, one click on the back, one click on the back. And then you see right next to it is the chirp. And then I think that's a low, yeah, low click, zero. So zero on the floor end, on the front end, and back is where your fader action is on this zero click, low click flare. I'm gonna have to get him on the show one time to show again how to do these. So that's that. That is where we at. Baby scratch. Essential, very essential. You need to know that before, or you need to learn how to master that before you do anything. And I bet you everybody does the baby scratch if you're DJing. When you get ready to do your transitions, to get your timing, to get ready to throw your next track in. When you have your headphones cue, you go on like this to get ready to do your release, to get everything to go into time. It's kind of like I always say, it's like jumping double dutch rope. You're looking at your rope, you're waiting for it to swing, you watching it swing, waiting for your time to come in, and then when your time comes, you're in and you're jumping. That's what you're doing when you're doing the baby scratch. All right, and we move on. All right, this was a surprise. It may not be a surprise to some of y'all that was here, but I think I already did it. Yeah. Oh no, I didn't do it. Now here's a surprise, and this is one thing that I usually do. Didn't do it now, but I did it in the first video. I usually, I think I did. Yeah, I did. It was like that. I start with my fader in the highest tension position. So let me go to the overhead, and let's see. Oh, don't have that one set up yet. All right. So right here, this is the mixer position. Uh-oh. Did my overhead clip out? Yep, think my overhead clipped out. Let me see what's going on. Battery died out. So I'm out of a whole overhead for a while till it charges up. It's supposed to stay charged. I don't know what's wrong with this thing. So, all right, my fader is in the hardest position. After it doesn't move when I tap it. Now, when I turn the tension back off, a light tap makes it bump across from one side to the other. This is how most DJs want it. They want it extra slippery. Now, with me growing up using mixers that didn't have this feature, what I start to do, and this is the part of the exercise too, I warm my hands up by starting in that hard position, and then after I practice a while, I would then turn it and open up. So it's kind of like a dam. You have everything hard, it's backed up, and then all of a sudden I turn it off and fire up the floodgates. See, and that's light. And then right now I'm using my wrist. Now I'm using my fingers. Now, can I do the same thing in the hardest position? Yeah, I can. Matter of fact, when I do it now, I move the fader just slightly. I don't move it as much. So if you start off in a hard position and then eventually work your way up to where you're using it light, then that's what that'll build up your muscles. Now, another reason why you want to work with uh, maybe stock faders or with it in a harder or tighter tension is that you may not always be on your mixer. Now, if your mixer has an inner fader, is loose, buttery, and slippery, then you want to change over. Well, now if it's loose, buttery, and slippery, and you go over to your partner's place and use his set, and his have a stock fader, it may take you a while to get used to it. That's why I say always start with something. Don't rush to get the best thing. I mean, yeah, you'll be able to get some results, but try to work and see if the results you can get with what you have. Then when you do, anything else you use, you'll fly right through it. All right, moving on. All right, and that was the surprise. The surprise was the whole time I was working with the fader in the hardest position. I didn't have it um, to, and sometimes I even do the actual crossfader. I work with it in like a mixed position to where I have to move it midway for it to turn on. That builds up the speed as for anything with a click because it's not instant. It's not like this. It's like you're moving, you're moving a little bit further, and it has a fader motion, which you want to take that out. So that was that was my surprise. All right, and number 7. I'm almost there. All right, especially a lot of guys out there that feel that they need the newest stuff to be able to do what they see somebody else do. Now, I've seen DJs that had professional, I mean, scratch DJs that can turn it up on the little bitty small controller instead of having maybe like a setup that I have right now. Now, the reason I wanted to get the range, I wanted to try something different. I always want to try something different. I want to have something different. So if I'm working with somebody else or if they have it set up, I know how to use it. And plus, I want a little new technology. I've been kind of behind on technology as for what most DJs have, but I don't try to get the newest stuff out there. This right here, this is going to be it for a while. I don't care what else comes out. This is going to be it for me. I don't go out and buy the newest and latest stuff that has, some features in it. So try to use what you got. Don't try to rush out and get it. Trust me, what you have may work. If you think it's not going to work, hit me up and I can tell you what you can do to make it work. Or if you're looking to get something, but you don't want to spend a whole lot, then I can help you find that too. Just like my smallest controller is a Hercules MK4. I haven't used it in a while, but it works. It works pretty good. The only thing I could probably use it with is Virtual DJ and Tractor, which after I'm probably gonna pull it out and see what I can do with it. Now, the other controller that I have besides that is an NS7. Now I can go on the NS7. When controllers came out, I didn't like them. I'm like, I always been a turntable guy. Been a turntable guy since the '90s. I got my first set of 1200s. It was 1200s from there on out. Didn't want nothing else. Didn't want to deal with nothing else. I've owned I've owned 13 1200s, and right now I have at least probably 10, maybe 8 working. Some of them are parts, but uh, I've always been a turntable guy. So the Rain 12s was something that attracted and that I wanted to stay with and use because it gave me. I didn't need needles, so I don't have to worry about buying needles for 'em, but it still gives me that turntable feel that I like. So, and also the NS7 too, which is why I went with it. And also, I got a good deal on it. When I got the deal on it, that was the no-brainer. Like, okay, I'm gonna try you. And I like it. I liked it. I love the NS7. So anything in that area, that's what that's what I'm looking for. I'm not looking to get a Rain 1 or a Rev 7 at any time. If I find a deal on Rain 1, maybe, maybe, maybe. But right now the NS7 is what I have is for like something smaller than this. But like I say, you don't need everything. Use what you have versus what you think you, because you'll be surprised on what somebody can do on what you have. And then it'd be like, oh shit, he can do that. I think I can do that too. And you'll be able to practice and be able to get it over time. All right, let's finish up. This is the last and final one. And this goes back to, I think that was number 2, which was build up a practice routine. So number 2 was create a practice routine. Number 8, set your practice schedule. Once you have your schedule, once you have your routine, then set up a time and a date that you want to do it. Whether it's every other day for an hour or every day for 3 hours. Set up some type of practice routine. What I try to do, if I'm not too tired, I try to come in and get about at least an hour scratch. The routine, the practice video that I work with is about 20 minutes long. So I'm probably at least looking at about an hour if I just stay with that. I'll do 20 minutes on this side, and then I would go and try to do 20 minutes on this side to get some practice and become more ambidextrous. Now, this side is going to take a lot of more work. And so when I get to the end of the video, I may go back, jump back to it, and find parts in the video that I need to practice a little bit more. But you need to make a practice schedule. I don't care if you write it down on a calendar, if you tell Siri, hey Siri, plan practice schedule.
What date and time is this appointment?
Siri cancel.
Okay, I will create the appointment.
So then at that point, you got your schedule. You can go ahead and create your schedule out, and then the only thing you got to do is take action and practice it. Let's see. Got some questions. You had a Hercules and you gave it away. Oh, which one did you have? Hit me back later on. Let me know what you got. Man, you got a lot of stuff. I thought I had stuff. Okay, you got your first 1200s in the early 80s. Dang. I probably didn't know what a 1200 was in the 80s, other than watching it on video. And okay, now yeah, if you're a turntable guy, you're gonna love you're gonna want to stick with something that you love. Pioneer controllers and any controller that don't have a moving platter, eh, I call them toys. I call them toys. Sorry, but that's me. Um, I started DJing. I wanted to be a scratch DJ, but mixing and doing mobile stuff paid bills, paid for my car, paid insurance, paid for a lot of stuff. So that's what I did. Had extra money in my pocket. I was able to buy records. It also allowed me to move into other realms of DJing, like radio DJing. Start working, producing, promoting, recording, just a whole bunch of. I mean, I kind of dabbed a little bit on everything except for tour. I would love to do a tour, just one one season, just one tour of maybe 20, 30 cities or whatever, travel the country and tour with an artist to where I'm the hype man and I'm providing the music, I'm doing the cuts on the album, I mean, on the performance or whatever. Just like I see a lot of my favorite DJs that I look up to are doing right now. So that's something that I want to do. But like I say, uh, make your practice schedule. Make your practice schedule, set it, and make it happen. All right, so that wraps it up. Run through it again. Let's touch on everything again. Exercise. Make sure you exercise, stretch, do whatever. Work your fingers. Find whatever you have that can help you work it out. Because once you start to get these build up, you can start to build up speed. Next, practice routine. Create a practice routine. Not only just set a schedule, but create what you're going to do when you set that schedule. You got to not only have time and a date set, but you got to have something. What you going to do during that time and date? Try to have something more planned and not more freestyle. That's a practice routine. Number three, when you start working, build up your speed. Don't try to go so fast. Start with something slow. Listen to it. Let it marinate. Try to hear what is going on in whatever it is that you're trying to practice. If it's something with the click, and this is what I do now, I listen to where how the fader hits. Listen to the sounds of that. And then it's all about having your record hand to have it set. All right, next is the turntable transcription method, and that's where you take the chart, you analyze, and this is what you can do. This could be a part of your routine or your practice, where you're taking a scratch off that chart. You're learning how to use that chart. If you take one scratch a day and learn it, in probably maybe 3 years, you'll be Cubert or somebody, Craze or somebody, as for learning how to scratch. But you have to take all this stuff in consideration because I'm gonna trust me, all these guys have done it too. If you need a copy of the chart, I'm gonna put DJ Ray Dawn. I'm gonna put his email down at the bottom. I didn't do it on the last video, but I'm gonna do it on this one. All right. So number four, or the next one, is the essential. Start with the basics. Make sure you have the baby figured out before you start to move to anything else. Which that should be a no-brainer. It's just a matter of going forward, but going forward and backwards to a beat. Can you go forward and backwards to the same beat and keep it in rhythm? Can you double time it? Can you triple time it? Can you add variations like tears and scribbles? Add more stuff into it, learn it. Start with this first. If you if you're starting on scratching for your first time, start with this first, learn every variation of it. And like I said, you're not using any fader, so you're only using one hand. Start with one hand, get that one down, then go on to using the other hand. All right, the next one was a surprise, was that I was using the hard attention fader. And what I want you to get out of this is that you don't need the newest technology, the newest fader. As you can see, I was using stock. I'm using stock now. I'm not even using stock in the lightest setting. I was using it in the heaviest setting. And what that was also doing, that was building up my fingers. Just like I was telling you about the rubber band or the balls, I use it to exercise the fingers, to tone and build up the muscle. That will eventually tone and build up the muscle. And like I said, when you go to somebody else's house, use that same mixer that don't have that new technology, you're gonna go. You're gonna fly with it. All right, next one, using what you have versus what you think you need, equipment wise. If you have something now and it's working, stay with it. You don't have to jump for everything out there. You don't need everything out there just because people got it. And I talk to people about this all the time that, you know, don't if you don't really need it, don't spend any money for it. But as DJs, we always gotta have the newest stuff out there. So, well, what can I say? And down to the last one, make sure you set a schedule. Build your schedule. Get your schedule and stay with it. That goes, and then at that point, you back to number two, building a routine. You gotta have a routine before you do the schedule. Know what action you're gonna take before you set the time you're gonna take the action. And that right there, that's just 8 tips that I've shared with everybody. And I hope that you got a lot out of this. Like I said, this video is kind of long, but right now I'm going to end it because the other one went a lot longer. So thank everybody for coming out. If you found this video very helpful, make sure you like it, hit that like button down there, smash that bell so you can get the notifications, and make sure you share this with other people, especially if they want to learn how to scratch but don't know what direction they need to take. If you need any help, contact me. You can leave your contact information in the bottom. I'll leave my social media information, so you can get in contact with me there. Probably use Facebook more than anything. You can find me on Facebook in probably almost any DJ group. But my primary group is this one right here, the Atlanta DJ Zone. If you're a DJ, then that's where you need to be. But anyway, wrapping up, hope everybody had a good time. Hope you enjoyed this. Make sure, like I said, like, share, subscribe, all that other stuff. If you need anything, lessons or other tips and techniques, hit me up. All right. We'll see y'all later next week or the next podcast episode. This one is a wrap. We out. Peace.